All right. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son, YHWH. Welcome to our Sunday morning class with my very special, very mighty brother, Captain Khalil from KOY. He'll be joining us in class today. And today's class, if you can see the title, is sin is the law that important? Let me share this live real fast that we can start getting everybody in here. Share, copy link. Let's see. Boom. I'm gonna start adding everybody right now. Then get. Did I put in the group chat? Did I put in the group chat? No little Nightlight City. Where else do I need to set it to the recruit and let him get his knowledge in. Share it on Facebook real fast. I'm gonna do like this better. One more location will be one second. We'll start now. I'm gonna do this on IG.
Come get my salute in real quick. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba'Shem Mashiach, YHWH. Right, we're back at it again with another live with my beautiful beloved brother, IBADYAH. Right,
That's right,
man. Right, powerful unity stream we about to do right now. Right, so look out for more unity streams that we got coming in the not so distant future. Right,
Con. The water for the saluting. Let me just.
all praises. I'm gonna share this to my broadcast channel too, real quick.
Con.
Shalom, KY Israelites, Dallas. All praises to the Most High. Shalom.
Shalom. To the mighty brothers out there in Dallas doing that work. All right.
That's right.
I put it in this chat. I put it in the stream. He did twice shalom. Not sure, is that Nathaniah or?
Yeah, Khan.
It's Isaiah. Man, them brothers is mighty over there doing a mighty work. Shalom to them brothers. So, now let's start. Let me get my salute right back in. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor and glory to the Most High God Yahweh in the name of His only begotten Son YHWH. Welcome to our Sunday classes. Most High willing, we'll be having way more of these. We got the tester stream. Y'all saw the class tried in the furnace. Last week before last. So this week we're going to be going into is the law that important, right? Because this class is geared towards brothers that are just coming into truth. You know what I'm saying? They might have a million questions. They might have, you know what I'm saying, things they want to know. And when you're leaving, especially brothers like myself that left Christianity, you get taught a lot of misinformation, as they like to say, or as some people like to say, fake news, right? Then the misinformation, one of them being, is the law that important, right? And when you're a Christian, they teach you to run to the New Testament to try and prove that it's not. But we're gonna go ahead and show you that it is important, right? So, Brother Khalil, Brother Captain Khalil, if you can get me 1 John 3 and 4 in the GNT, the YHWH, and read that for me.
All praises. This is the book of 1 John chapter 3 and verse number 4 in the GNT. And it reads, whosoever sins is guilty of breaking God's law, because sin is a breaking of the law.
So now we're establishing what sin is and why the law is so important, right? When you break God's laws, you're sinning. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. That is what a sin is, because in the Christian church, they tell you everything is a sin except for breaking God's laws. They even go as far as to tell you that the law is done away with. You don't have to keep this law. You know what I'm saying? It really serves no purpose, when in reality, it gives you life. It has a purpose. Everything that the Most High God gave you serves a purpose, right? When you get a chance, can you give me that? Let me see. Boom. Salaki, you can give me Romans 3 and 31 in the NLT, so we can we could start off with who all Christians love to run to, which is a fact. You know what I'm saying? Christians will be like, well, in the New Testament, we're under grace, and Paul said this and Paul said that. Well, let's see what our beloved brother Paul has said in times past. Read that.
God, this is the book of Romans chapter 3 and verse number 31. Right, I was slacking. Let me put it back on the screen. Slacking.
Oh yeah, Con. No, you good.
All right. Romans 3 and 31 in the NLT. It says, well then, if we emphasize faith, does this mean that we can forget about the law? Of course not. In fact, only when we have faith do we truly fulfill the law.
Right. So when we have faith, we truly fulfill the law. Can you get it for me in the GNT as well?
God.
We can only truly fulfill the law when we have, you know what I'm saying, we have faith. Because as the book of James says, faith without works is dead, right? And what are those works? Keeping the law, right? You see brothers, you're just learning, you see brothers wearing fringes, those things hanging off the bottom of our shirt, or even tassels. Brothers talking about not eating pork. Why? Because we respect God. We love God. We fear God, right? And the only way that's the only way we exhibit our faith. We exhibit our faith by keeping this law that the Most High has given us, right? Go ahead, read that for me in a different translation, Akia.
God. This is the book of Romans 3 and 31 in the GNT. Does this mean that by this faith we do away with the law? No, not at all. Instead, we uphold the law.
Right. So because we have faith, do we do away with the law, right? Because that's a big thing in the shalom to the Sergeant Yawasop, right? Getting in the chat. You know what I'm saying? We see that, brothers. We see how it is that we established the law, right? Let me full screen it so I can read it myself with you guys. Salakia. Right. It says, you know what I'm saying? Does it, because we have faith, do we do away with the law? Like, do we stop keeping it? Do we no longer have to do this? Is not. Instead, we uphold the law, right? We make it that much tougher, right? Even Christ said, let me see if I can get that scripture real fast. You know what I'm talking about? You have heard it said in times of old. You know what I'm talking about?
Let me see.
Matthew 5:38. I want to say.
Matthew
No.
5:27.
Yeah, boom, perfect. The water. Read that for me.
Which the GNT?
If you want, or if you can get the. Let me see. Let me see if how it says it in. Let me see how it looks in the King James version. Oh yeah, boom. Read in the King James version, Babu Kusha.
God. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5, and verse number 27 in the KJV, right? It reads, Ye have heard that it was said, well, it's like it. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Oh, keep going. Salakia 28 as well.
But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart.
Right. So what Christ did was he came to establish the law and make it that much more clear, right? Because we can, you know what I'm saying, in times of old, you could look at the woman as long as you didn't lay with her, right? As long as you didn't lay with that man's wife, you could look at her, you know what I'm saying? Well, not necessarily, but you could get away with it, right? But Christ defined it more so by saying, if you look at her already, you've already committed adultery. He said the same thing about hating your brother in your heart. He said, if you hate your brother in your heart already, you've already committed murder. That's 2 sins. Leviticus 19, 17, and 18, Baba Kusha, in the King James. You know what I'm saying? You've heard these 2 commandments, and then I'll read, and then we'll read the other commandment, right?
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 17. It reads, Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
Right.
Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him.
Right. So you can't even hate your neighbor. Keep going, Akia.
Verse 18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am Yahweh.
Right. So the Most High that gave us that commandment saying, don't, you know what I'm saying? We can't hate our people, you know what I'm saying? Because that's one sin, but the Most High is so wonderful. When he said YHWH, he established that even more. Give me Exodus 20 and 13 in the GNT, Baba Kusha. Right? Because you heard what Christ said. He said, if you hate your brother in your heart, you know what I'm saying, your heart, you've already committed murder. Leviticus said you can't hate your brother. You know what I'm saying? You can't bear a grudge. You can't do all these things. You know what I'm saying? And now let's see what else Moses said. Give me that, Baba Kusha.
God, this is the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 13 in the GNT. Do not commit murder.
It says, do not commit murder, right? Those are 2 separate commandments, but YHWH made it so that they're one and the same, right? You can't hate your brother in your heart, and you can't, you know what I'm saying? And you can't, and if you do that, you can't, you know what I'm saying? You've already committed murder, which is already in the 10 commandments, the big 10 commandments, right? Which, you know what I'm saying? So the law in and of itself becomes a spiritual thing. But pull out one precept from yesterday. The law is spiritual. Babu Kusha.
Khan, I got you right now.
Khan. You know what I'm saying? We see how the Lord moves, right? He established the law, made it so that brother Shalom Gabawar, Shalom to the Captain Gabawar, right? You know what I'm saying? We see that the law becomes a spiritual thing. It's not just something that we do, you know what I'm saying? We just do. We got to live by it and through the spirit, right? Not the letter of the law, but the spirit of the law, right? Go ahead, Akim.
That's right. This is the book of Romans, chapter 7, and verse number 14. It says, we know that the law is spiritual, but I am mortal. But I am a mortal, sold as a slave to sin.
Right. So we see even our beloved brother Paul saying that he's slave to sin. He struggled with keeping the law, right? Well, men in general, we struggle to keep the law, right? But we know that the law is spiritual, and it revives us, right? It keeps us It keeps us alive, right? Matter of fact, give me Baruch chapter 4, verses 1 through 1 through, I want to say 1 and 2, Baruch chapter 4, verses 1 and 2. Right? We see that, you know what I'm saying? We see that brothers are, you know what I'm saying? We see that we struggle, but the law is spiritual, and we'll see what it does to us in a bit, right? We're gonna see what it does to us, but we're establishing how important the law is and what it is, right? We established what sin is, which is the breaking of the law, and we established that how Christ has made that law that much more spiritual, right? By making it not only a physical act, but what you've already thought in your heart. Read that for me, Baba Kusha.
God, this is the book of Baruch, chapter 4, and verse number 1.
Mm-hmm.
This is the book of the commandments of Yahweh, and the law that endureth forever.
Right. So we see that the law is, you know what I'm saying? The law endures forever, and that'll be important in a couple of minutes, right? And we'll see why. Go ahead.
God. And it reads, all they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die.
Right. And again, it's a point that's gonna be echoed by our beloved brother Paul. Christians, and this isn't a Christian bashing live stream, it's just pointing out certain things, right? We see that Christians love to say the law is done away with, and they also throw away the Apocrypha, but the Apocrypha is telling you that those that keep the law will come to life, right? And Paul made this very same statement in Romans, right? When he says, but those that leave it will die. Keep going.
God. Verse number 2. Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated.
Right. And again, another point that's established in the Tanakh, right? In the quote unquote Old Testament, when the brother you know what I'm saying, when Proverbs were being written. Give me Proverbs 6 and 23 first for verse 2, and then we'll work our way backwards to verse 1. Because we have to see something, right? If the law, you know what I'm saying, those that have it, will be illuminated, right? Let me see if it's Proverbs. I know it's Proverbs 6. I don't know if it's 1 or verse 23.
23.
You know, it is okay. Boom.
It's Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 23. It says, for the commandment is a lamp.
Boom.
And the law is light. And reproofs of instruction are the way of life.
Right. Reproof of instruction is the way of life, right? A commandment is a lamp. What is a lamp used for? So that you can see. When you turn on a light, you know what I'm saying, you can see what's in front of you. Last night, the power went out for like a minute and a half at my house, but for that minute and a half, everything was pitch black. You couldn't see 2 feet in front of you unless you had this little bit of light, which was my cell phone light that I just so happened to have from watching you, right? So for that example, if the lights go all out in your house, you have no flashlight, you can't see what's in front of you. You walk 2 feet, you might hurt yourself. You might run into a counter, you might step on something that you couldn't see was there, right? So that commandment are given so that you can see what's ahead of you. You can see the danger and know to avoid it, right? And those that keep it, such as Baruch said, are going to be illuminated. They will see that, right? Go back to Baruch real fast, Baba Kusha, and read verse 1 again.
Baruch chapter 4 and verse 1. What's like here?
Yeah. No, you good.
Baruch chapter 4 and verse number 1, and it reads, this is the book of the commandments of Yahweh, and the law that endureth forever.
Right. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
It says, all they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die.
Right. So now we see that if you leave it, you're going to die. Go to Romans chapter 6, verse 23. And like I always say, that could be a spiritual death, and it can always be a physical death, right? Like I always tell, if you eat pork, you're gonna have physical attributes to it, right? You're gonna have high blood pressure, you might have a heart attack, I know of a brother that has migraines and such from one summer that they ate pork ribs all summer, right? You could develop worms. There's a whole lot of physical things that can happen when you break the law. Just that one little law, Leviticus 11, right? Or if you sleep with another man's wife, you know what I'm saying, you could you can literally get killed if he catches you. Can you read that for me, Baba Kushan? Salaki, I didn't mean to go on that tangent.
God, this is Romans chapter 6 and verse 23.
Go ahead.
For the wages of sin is death,
Right.
but the gift of Yahweh is eternal life through Hamashiach Yahushai, our Adawan.
Right. So we see there, right? Those 2 points that were made in Baruch, Paul brought it back out. He said, those that keep the law will come to life. Those that leave it will die. The wages, the recompense, the pay you get for sinning is literally death, right? You're out here, you hate your brother in your heart. You know what I'm saying? You could fall victim to murder, just like the man that's fallen victim, you know what I'm saying, that could do it to you, same way with him from holding a grudge, right? It's all kinds of ways you could look at it, right? You could physically fall off. I was going to tell you to pull that scripture for me, Babu Kusha, for the brother Nethaniah pulled. I'm going to read it. The Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 17, verse 11. Besides this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for an heritage. We see that. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 4, verses 5 and 6. You know what I'm saying? We see that scripture. You know what I'm saying? We see that we were given the law of life as an inheritance, a heritage, right? We're the only people on earth that have received that, right? Therefore, we're the only people that could really sin, right? Outside of the general laws, those very specific laws to us can really lead to death, right?
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4 and verse 5.
Go ahead.
Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as Yahweh my power commanded me, that ye should do so in the land, whether ye go to possess it.
Right, keep going.
Verse 6, keep therefore and do them.
Right.
For this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
Right. This is our knowledge and our understanding. This is our wisdom and our understanding, our knowledge, right? This is our wisdom and knowledge. These laws that the Most High God has given us, right? That's why we run around like a bunch of chickens with our heads cut off, because we don't have the understanding that we need. We don't have the wisdom that we need, right? We'd rather turn away from these laws. You know what I'm saying? We'd rather not do these and look like a bunch of fools to everybody else. And you probably tell yourself, well, I don't care what nobody else thinks. That's good, but we're a reflection of our power, and our power gave us laws to live by. If you could go back to Baruch chapter 4, verse 1 one more time, Babu Kusha, showing that again we could be illuminated. We're not illuminated, right? Even in the book of Isaiah, where it says it has not, you know what I'm saying, it is because they have no light in them. It's because it ain't dawned on them. Read that one more time, Babu Kusha, verse 1.
This is Baruch chapter 4 and verse number 1.
Go ahead.
This is the book of the commandments of Yahweh, and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die.
Right. Now this is for the first sentence. The point being, the book of the commandments of God, those that last forever. Can you give me Matthew chapter 5 verse 17, Babu Kusha? Let me see real fast in what translation. You know what I'm saying? Because we have to understand that the law is not done away with. Right. Let me see Matthew 5 17. Can you get in the GNT version, Babu Kusha?
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17 in the GNT.
Go ahead.
And it reads, do not think that I have come to do away with the law of Moses and the teachings of the prophets.
Right. So the most High God had put that spirit on YHWH because he knew what kind of people we would be. He said, do not think that we come to do away with the law of Moses. Mm-hmm. Right. Very specific, because Christians love to use that phrase, the law of Moses, right? So as we're leaving up out of these religions, remember that Christ, we all profess to be our Savior, didn't come to do away with these laws. Keep going.
Reading on. I have not come to do away with them, but to make their teachings come true.
He said to make their teachings come true, right? So that prophecy may come to pass, right? If you don't know, Moses wrote of YHWH, right? Moses wrote of Christ, you know what I'm saying? And if you don't believe Moses, how would you believe in him? Literally in that very same chapter, if you could scroll down to those verses, Baba Kusha, you know what I'm saying? Literally, Moses taught of Christ. So how can you profess to know Christ when you don't even, you know what I'm saying, when you don't believe in the writings that came prior to him, any of the writings for that matter, because they love to use, are we under grace or are we under the law? And I'm gonna get to that in a couple of seconds. As a matter of fact, I want to say it's Romans 6:1 as well. Oh yeah, boom. You know what I'm saying? They love to use the phrase, "Oh, we're under grace, not the law." Read that for me, Baba Kusha.
Which one? The Moses one?
No. The Moses one right now.
Okay, hold on. I gotta go to John. John chapter 5 and verse number 40.
It was John, huh?
6. John chapter 5 verse 46 in the G&T.
Go
if
ahead.
you had really believed Moses, ye would have believed me, because he wrote about me.
Keep going.
But since you do not believe what he wrote, how can you believe what I say?
Right. So we see right there, right? If you really believe Moses, and he's talking to the Jews, but we're talking to the Christians. If you really believe the whole Bible like you said you do, then you would really believe in Christ, but you don't believe in what Moses said. So how could you believe in Christ if Christ came out of the prophecies of Moses, right? Can you pull that I'm gonna read this from the mighty brother Gabawa, right? Ecclesiasticus or Sirach chapter 38, verse 15. He that sinneth before his maker, let him fall into the hand of the physician. Going back to Leviticus 11, right? When you eat the things that are unclean of you, right? Going back to pretty much any law, you have a physical repercussion to that, right? You can easily be destroyed. You can easily fall sick. Again, you eat too much, you eat pork, period. You know what I'm saying? You're subject to getting high blood pressure, you know what I'm saying, worms in your brain. You can't even cook all the bacteria out of pork when you're cooking it, right?
That's right.
So how could you not know that that's going to make you sick, right?
That's one of the stipulations in Deuteronomy 28 and verse 22. You know, the high fever, the inflammation, the mold, all that bad stuff. That's the curse that will apply to our people when they don't keep that law, right?
God, I'm gonna get that real fast. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse, where are you? 22. Salakia. Oh yeah, boom. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 22. The Lord Yahweh shall smite thee with a consumption and with a fever and with an inflammation and with an extreme burning and with the sword and with the blasting and with mildew. They shall pursue thee until thou perish. Right. And again, when you get Leviticus 11 for me in the good news in the GMT.
God.
Right. We see this is a repercussion from us eating pork. Right. People be getting all kind. I think gout is attributed to that as well. I'm not too sure, but I do know that you can have clogged arteries. I know that you can really be sick. You could really be destroyed, right?
That's right.
From having that, you know what I'm saying? You could die of a heart attack. You got all kinds of issues. I know a brother in the truth that at the time when I first came around, he's like, oh, I'm still making an adjustment, eating his bacon and his, you know what I'm saying, with his eggs and everything. And the brother got just that. He had a heart attack like a few years after that. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
The Lord's gonna judge you, man. No matter how you look at it, Most High God is gonna judge you, and if you don't repent, He will destroy you. Right? Give me that the law of eating pigs in the book in Leviticus book.
God, this Leviticus 11 and verse number 7 in the G&T, and it reads, "Do not eat pigs."
Read it again.
Do not eat pigs.
Right, but what do we love to do? We love to eat pork, right? We love our pork chops, our carnitas, our what was it we were saying yesterday with the A? I always forget.
El pastor.
Yeah, al pastor, that's the one.
Pork chorizo, all that stuff.
Yeah, all that madness, right?
Oh,
You know what I'm
especially
saying?
the chicharrones too, man.
Oh yeah, they
Pork
love that,
skin.
bro. Hey, everybody loves eating those at work, bro. It's sickening, bro. Like you don't get that you're gonna die of a heart attack. You're gonna die a painful death because you don't want to obey the Most High God. You know what I'm saying? He gonna
Right.
destroy you, and you don't. It doesn't seem like it's registering you, right? Give me Romans chapter 6 verse 1, uh, either in the NLT or the GNT.
Let me finish this off
Oh
too.
yeah, finish that out, Akia.
It says, "Do not eat pigs; they must be considered unclean." Right?
Mm,
They have
good.
divided hoofs, but do not chew the cud. Do not eat these animals or even touch their dead bodies. They
They're
are
so
unclean.
they're so unclean that you can't even touch his dead body. You gotta go get a heathen to bury your pet pig if you have one. You know what I'm saying? You can't. So if you can't even touch it, what makes you think you should be eating it, right? These animals have all this bacteria. They don't even process their food like they're supposed to. They don't have sweat glands. They don't let none of that poison out of their body. If, if, and this is not a confession of anything. I'm just saying I've heard this. If you want to get rid of a body, you throw it in a pig pen because the pigs is gonna eat it. They'll eat a car battery if you throw it in there.
Man,
If you throw, go ahead.
I said, man, they'll eat each other too.
They will eat each other. They'll eat a car. If they eat a car battery, what do you think you're eating when you're eating them? Right?
Right.
They're used so you can clean up your area. Hey man, there's all kinds of stuff around there. Let the pigs loose and eat it. Right? But you want to eat that and consume it. If you could give me Romans chapter 6 verse 1, because a lot of religions in general love to yell out grace, 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 right? Like they love to say they're under grace. Well, let's see what grace does, right? In the either in the GNT or the NLT, it don't really matter.
Con. This is a Romans 6:1 in the G&T.
Go ahead.
What shall we say then? Should we continue to live in sin so that God's grace will increase?
Right. So are we go? So are we
Certainly,
gonna go ahead? Slug, go ahead. Finish out.
certainly not. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So are we supposed to continue to be in sin just because we're under grace? Are we supposed to be like, well, you know what? God gonna do what they love to say. God knows my heart. He's gonna forgive me. I'm gonna go ahead and eat this pork chop. And then when God kills you, or God has you in the bed with no foot, you're screaming, "Why, God? Why?" Right? When the Most High God is punishing you and destroying you, you can't sit there and wonder why. When in reality, you've been doing it to yourself in so many words, right?
Hmm.
Give me matter of fact, give me Psalms 19:7. Let's see what the keeping of the law does do to you though once you keep the law, because we've been harping on, well, if you do this, if you do that. Let's see what happens when we keep the law.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 19 and verse number 7. The law of Yahweh is perfect.
It's perfect. Good.
It gives new strength.
Gives me strength. Go ahead.
The commandments of Yahweh are trustworthy, giving wisdom to those who lack it.
Right. So when we keep the law, the most high God is gonna really show us out, right? What did he say? You know what I'm saying? He said he's gonna give us new strength, right? What we once thought we couldn't do, we can now do, right? When his commands are trustworthy, we can trust on that. We can put our last $5 on it, and it's gonna for sure gonna happen, right? It gives us wisdom, right?
Mhm.
It allows us to not do certain things when we know we shouldn't do them, and it keeps us in that direction, right? The laws of man. Keep read verse 8.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I'm gonna read down the rest of 8. Yeah, it
Go
says
ahead.
the laws of Yahweh are right,
Go ahead.
and those who obey them are happy.
God.
The commandments of Yahweh are just and give understanding to the mind.
Right. So, and it's funny that I never looked at it like that, but right now when you were reading that, I remember about a year or two ago, it was probably 3 years ago when I first started my job. I was walking through the dock, and a Southern Kingdom Jake, most likely a Judite, stopped me. He's like, hey, why are you always happy? And I'm like, I don't know, just how I am. He's like, how? No, he said, how old are you? At the time, I was 36. I'm like, well, I'm 36. Why are you always happy? I'm like, because the Most High takes care of me. I mean, what they're not to be happy about? I know I'm an Israelite and I keep the commandments. And now reading it in this translation, it all makes sense because I keep the law. The Most High keeps me happy.
That's right.
I know I'm not going to be, you know what I'm saying? I know that I'm pleasing my God. I'm pleasing my power, right?
That's right. That's right.
Man, it's just, it's just something that it is what it is, right? Let's see. So we can close out. Or do you have any precepts, Akia?
Yeah, I want to pull something out in John chapter 18. John chapter 8. Let me get that real quick. John chapter 8, right? KJV. So yeah, man, this is why it's very important to follow these commandments, right? The commandments were given to us for our good, and this is how we are made known to be righteous, right? So let me get this real fast. Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 25 real fast. Deuteronomy 6 and verse 25. So, like the Christian church, what I'm saying, if you're new to this channel and you're new coming into this truth, the Christian church likes to tell us that no man is righteous. Nobody can be righteous, right? It's impossible, right? But that's not so, because the law is what makes us righteous, right? It's Deuteronomy 6 and 25. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahweh our God, as he hath commanded us, right? And just like we read in Proverbs 6 and 23, the law is a lamp, right? It's our guiding tool to guide us out of this world of darkness that we were falling into in the hands of these religions, right? In this society, being oppressed by our oppressors, right? They put us in this world of darkness. They kept us suppressed in this world of darkness. So now that we understand that we got to keep these laws and that it's our light, it's our way out, right? Why not? Do you want to remain with the ungodly in the darkness forever? No, because you're going to be destroyed in these last days, man, right? So that's Deuteronomy 6 and 25. It's going to be our righteousness if we keep these commandments. It's going to be our righteousness if we follow that light, right? And what is that light? Let's go to John chapter 8. It's the book of John chapter 8 and verse number 12. It says, then spake YHWH again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. Right? That's the word. That's the word of the Most High right there, right? Made manifested in the flesh, which is YHWH. So if we follow in after the commandments and the laws of the Most High God Yahweh, it's the same as following YHWH, his son, because he is the walking embodiment of the commandments, man. Right? So that's the two precepts fall right there. But guess what? If you walk in darkness, because right here says, he that followeth me shall not walk in darkness. But if you so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who are truly the biblical Israelites, right? The 12 tribes, if you continue to walk in darkness, this is what's going to happen, right? Let's get that real quick in Sirach.
Can't get for this man.
What's this? I'm gonna get this tab right here. Right. Sirach chapter 12, KJV.
I'm gonna read this one real fast from Sergeant Yahweh. This is Sirach chapter 15, verse 20. He hath commanded no man to do wickedly, neither hath he given any man license to sin. Right. So when they tell you again that you don't have to keep the laws of God, that you don't have to do, say everything that the book says, they're bugging, man. They're lying to you, because God has given no man license to sin or to do wickedly. Right.
That's right. That's right. Bring it out, y'all. What's up?
And I have one more precept from our beloved brother Captain Gabawar, right? This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119, verses 43 to 45. And take not the word of truth utterly out of my mouth, for I have hoped in thy judgments. So shall I keep thy law continually forever and ever, and I will walk at liberty. You know what I'm saying? So when we keep the law, we walk at liberty, right? It is our job to keep these laws going on forth forever and ever, right? And we never let it depart from us, right? Contrary to what that brother said at camp yesterday, when you walk left, right, that's not walking in the ways of God.
Oh man,
The commandments of God is how you walk in His ways. So like
he was lost, man.
yeah, the
That
brother
brother
was
lost.
video
But,
coming soon.
right, but that's why it's very important, to keep these laws in meditation and in your remembrance, because if you're walking in darkness, right, you're not going to be deemed as righteous. If you walk in these laws and you keep these laws, you're going to be deemed as righteous until the time you endure into the end. But if you're walking in darkness, you're going to be considered ungodly, right? It's going to be considered ungodly. And what's going to happen to those that are ungodly? This is Sirach chapter 12 and verse 6. For the Most High hated sinners and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly, and keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment, right? And this is not just strictly pertaining to these heathen nations, right? This applies to our people as well. This is why we go out there week in and week out, trying to wake up you so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to know who you truly are according to the Bible as God's people, to come back to His laws, to come back to that light and come out of the ways of darkness, because it's going to be bad for you. And the law was made for our what? Our good, which is contrary to that, right? Because the light cannot dwell with the darkness, and the darkness cannot comprehend the light, like it says in John chapter 1 and verse 5. Right. And I use that.
No, are you good? Give me John chapter 9 verse 31 in the NIV.
God.
In the NIV, and then one more after that.
NIV, boom. John chapter 9 and 31, you said?
Yes, John chapter 9 verse 31.
This is the book of John, chapter 9, verse 31 in the NIV, right? And it reads, we know that YHWH does not listen to sinners. He listens to the godly person who does His will.
Right. So that myth of sinners' prayers, that doesn't exist, man. The Most High God don't listen to them. Right, He does not hear you when you pray. To establish that, give me Proverbs chapter 28. I want to say verse 9. I'm pretty sure it's verse 9.
Is it the light to do thy will?
No.
All Proverbs.
Pretty much the same thing as this is.
Proverbs 28 and verse 9. Okay. In the NIV, correct?
Con. That should be fine.
Con. Proverbs 28 and verse 9 in the NIV. If anyone turns a deaf ear to my instruction, even their prayers are detestable.
Even their prayers are detestable. Get that in the GNT as well, Baba Kushan.
Oh, I thought it was sharing screen, Salakia. GNT, I got you.
Right, so it says, you know what I'm saying? If anyone doesn't hear, it turns deaf ears to His instructions, right? These instructions are the law, right?
That's right. Got right here, GNT. John chapter 9, verse 31 in the GNT. And it reads, it says, we know that God does not listen to sinners. He does listen to people who respect Him and do what He wants them to do.
Right, so we see that the Most High God, that's two ways it said it, that if you're a sinner, God ain't hearing you, right? You're falling out, right? We did have a camp like you, but we had it was a wild camp. You know what I'm saying? Those spirits were coming out, but you know what I'm saying? Those that don't respect the Most High, He's not hearing you. Can you give me Proverbs 28 and 9 in the same translation, Akia? I'm glad you did that, because that was perfect right there, right? We know God don't listen to sinners, and if you were paying attention from the beginning of class, we know that a sinner is someone who breaks God's laws, right?
That's right. Proverbs 28 and 9 in the GNT. If you do not obey the law, Yahweh will find your prayers too hateful to hear.
Right. So he's gonna find it so hateful he's not even listening to you, right? It says God listens to everybody. Well, the Bible says you're wrong, right? When you pray as a sinner, God is not hearing you. God forgive me. Well, God's probably not going to forgive you if you're not truly repentant. Give me one last precept before we close out class. Willful sin.
You know what I'm talking about? Hebrews 10 and 26.
Hebrews 10. I knew it was Hebrews 10. I didn't want to. Right. Let's see how it says it in this translation.
Hebrews chapter 10 and verse number 26.
Go ahead.
For there is no longer any sacrifice that will take away sins if we purposely go on sinning after the truth has been made known to us.
Right. So nothing you can do is going to keep you from being punished if you know the truth and you're doing it willfully. If you're purposefully doing it, good, that's even better. If you're purposefully doing it, if you're going around sleeping with other men's wives or eating pork, I know they're two very extremely opposite sins, but they're sins nonetheless. God's not hearing you. He's going to punish you, whether he kills you by that woman's husband, or by having a heart attack from eating that pork. Either way, if you're willfully sinning, you know what I'm saying, he's gonna punish you. Whether it be you know about fringes, but you're like, nah, I got spiritual fringes. My car might hit you crossing the street. A airplane engine might fall out the sky and land on you. You know what I'm saying?
And not only that, the Most High will let you, because everything's in His will. The Most High can let you live your whatever days of age you get to in this world, but then your spirit is going to get judged in the day of judgment, right? Watch what verse 27 says right here, right? So if you sin, knowing the truth, there's no more sacrifice in that no more. Instead, what? All that is left is to wait in fear for the coming judgment and the fierce fire which will destroy those who oppose Yahweh.
Right. So all you got at that point, you're just living scared. You're living scared. You're like, is that it? No. You see a car driving down the street too fast, you're gonna run on the curb.
That Gabawar say missile food.
Man, missile food, I haven't heard that in a long time. You might be missile food. Or you might, again, you know what I'm saying? You looking up to the sky, hoping that an airplane don't fall out the sky. You're walking by a construction site, hoping that there's not a runaway backhoe that might run you over. You don't know what's going to happen because you know that truth, but you also know you're going to be judged, right?
Oh, just like what you said right now, judged, right? 28. Anyone who disobeys the law of Moses is put to death without any mercy when judged guilty from the evidence of two or more witnesses. Man,
right?
That's
what I'm saying. You could be judged just for breaking Moses' law. So anyone new to the channel, again, when you're new to the channel, just leaving the Christian church, you might have got a flyer from one of us, or you might just typed in Hebrew Israelites, and we popped up. Understand that the keeping of the laws of Moses, quote unquote, the laws of Moses, which are really the laws of God, you know what I'm saying? That right there lets you know what I'm saying, that it's a very important thing. It's crucial, right? It's as serious as life and death, right? It's as serious as life and death, man. But do you have any other precepts, Captain Khalil?
No, I just want I can make a closing statement.
Go ahead.
But yeah, man, keeping these laws is very, very important to our people. You know, just like we see all of these nations that rule today in the earth, they all follow a legislation. They all follow their ordinances, their statutes, their own commandments, which is why they're established as a nation, right? We're not established as a nation because we don't follow our own legislative laws. We need to come back to the covenant and keep these instructions that the Most High God gave us, right? So we can get back on high and be above all nations of the earth, which was promised to us, right? Because when we get back in power, the whole earth is going to be at peace. But we see when the wicked are in bearing rule, it's just all hell breaking loose every damn day, man. Right? So Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, if you come across this channel, understand that you are the biblical Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel, God's chosen people, right?
Con. And if any brother that sees the recording after the fact, you have any questions you see, or you want to congregate, you see the information scrolling down at the bottom of the screen, or if you couldn't catch it, you know what I'm saying, our information is in the description. Any questions you have, you may have, you know what I'm saying, you could text the number in the description. Don't call it because it's a text number. You know what I'm saying? You could email us. Both my email and the camp's email are in the description. You could reach us via Facebook and Instagram. You've seen that information on the bottom of our names. Or you can, you know what I'm saying? Or you can even leave your comment. You can leave your questions in the comment section, and we'll do our best to answer them. Well, as we do a good, we try to do our best to check our comment section every day. You know what I'm saying? So any questions you may have, you know what I'm saying, feel free to ask. And for the brothers that were on the live stream, Tawada, you know what I'm saying, for that. And with that, we'd like to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, YHWH, in the name of his only begotten Son, YHWH, and we say Shalom.
Shalom.